Hey everybody, sorry for the slight delay here. We had just a little bit of a technical glitch, but we are here live. Thanks everyone for joining Dido's webinar series. We're really excited about this. There's a really recent product announcement around Drive for Work that Google announced at I/O last month, and we wanted to share a little bit more about that with you. As well as just kind of some of the things that around that might help your organization. My name is Bill Seibelt. I'm one of the account managers here at Dido, and I'm really also excited about this topic just simply because before my role here at Dido, I was a senior system administrator, and I dealt with a lot of the issues that we'll talk about today. And the unfortunate thing was we really didn't have a enterprise class level solution that was able to handle the issues that we were dealing with at the time. So this announcement is kind of near and dear to my heart, and all the things that kind of come with that. So really appreciate you being here. Let's just go ahead and start right off. And as we begin to talk about kind of launching into this, it is more so we really kind of have to talk about how we how we work. Really, right? We kind of just started at step one. Is that from a work standpoint these days, we're no longer simply going to the cubes at our offices and working 9 to 5, right? Work is getting done whether we're traveling, whether we're at remote offices, or even to and from home, and even there's a Forrester study that was done recently that shows that 30% or 37% of information workers typically will work from 3 or more locations every month, and they need to. On top of that is that you and they need to be productive in all of those locations. So it's not just a matter of being able to work in those locations; it's being able to get work done effectively. And so it's not just simply the location that's changing; it's also the devices that you use to get work done. So that same survey from Forrester cited that 53% of information workers use 3 or more devices to work. So, I mean, it may seem like a lot, but then if you start really thinking through it, it's like, well, okay, I've got my computer at work, I've got my information phone, right? I've got a tablet. I might have a home computer as well. And so, people are not only expected to be able to work from these devices, but be able to really effectively do that. And that really means getting access to all of your work files and all of your data. And it's really not just Microsoft Office documents and not just Excel spreadsheets. I mean, it really is. It's images, it's videos, it's PDFs, it's data sets. And as businesses become increasingly digital, and they rely more and more on this, the amount of data as well as the size of this data is just simply exploding, and it makes it all the more important for being able to connect to that information at any given time on any given device. So, working anytime, any place, anywhere can be pretty challenging. And the other thing is that your data is not just simply right now. It's not just simply in one place. So it could be on a file server. It could be on SharePoint. It could be in an email attachment in your inbox, and it could be on a thumb drive for all that matter. So you kind of show of hands here, and David's going to help me out. Is really kind of where are you in this? Does this kind of resonate with you? Do you have data in more than one location? You should see a little survey that's kind of popping up here to the right, and we'd love to get your kind of just a quick glimpse of our audience and where that is right now. And so on top of just the the locations of all your information, think about this also is with those locations, how effective is that allowing you to then share that information with other people? So the multiple locations certainly can be a bit of a hindrance, but on top of that, are you working with the most recent file, right? Are you able to effectively share that information in real time with the people within your organization, whether it be on the second or the floor above you or below you, or the cubicle down the hallway, or even down basically the office that's the remote location in Dubuque, Iowa, right? You got to have a way to know that you're working off the most recent file. So hey, David, what's the audience say so far? Where are we at on locations?
Yeah, Bill. It looks like 50% of the folks here say 3 to 4 locations. We've got a few that are in the 5 to 6 and 7 range, and then maybe just a handful that access 1 or 2 locations.
Okay, so that's not surprising. It's not surprising that that's kind of where we are in this. And so, really, we've got these challenges that are there for our end users, for the business users. And so users are they're really struggling to find the right information and then share it with the right people. And so then you have the folks in IT who, let's not be all hating on IT though, right? Is that they're trying to manage and secure all this corporate data wherever it is. I mean, that's their job. And unfortunately, as they're trying to do that, you find that end users are unable to work the way that they want, and so they end up taking matters into their own hands. And they end up kind of using unsanctioned services and devices that makes IT's job even harder in all of this. So here is where Google Drive for Work kind of steps in and fills all of that gap. So Drive for Work is very simple to use, and it gives individuals a single place to store all of their work. And it's very safe, it's very accessible, and you're able to access it from pretty much any device. And it's also, on top of that, it is easy for IT to support and manage. And so really kind of where we're going to go from at this point is kind of look at the two scenarios. Well, we're going to look first at from the specific benefits for the business users, and then from there we'll dive into the IT perspective, if you will. So first, as we look at the end user, Drive makes it very easy for anyone to work from any place, anytime, anywhere, and with your team. So whether it's inside the company or outside the company, and it works with all of the file editors that you use today, including Microsoft Office. And on top of that, it's more than just file storage. Google Drive for Work is part of the Google Apps platform, and so it gives you a set of tools that gives your end users an ability to collaborate and get work done together. So what does that look like? Let's first talk about mobile. So a lot of people talk about mobile, they're being mobile first. So at Google, their goal is to make the mobile experience really great. And even better than the desktop, for that matter. And really, with about over a billion users on Android, they're doing something right. And so really, mobile is a key part of the design process within Google. And so within Google Drive for Work, mobile first means that you have native apps in both Android and iOS, and it's really that feature-rich experience that you expect from Google. And it's a very fast and fluid solution, and it's something that you're able to, that from a Google search standpoint, you're kind of used to that search experience from Google's standpoint. You're able to search through any and all of your files, even through OCR text recognition. So think of that time when you've taken those snapshots off of the whiteboard. Now you have a place to put those, and you're able to index that through Google Drive. So not only are you able to store that information there, but you have a mobile activity feed that shows you everything that's going on with your drive, within your files, and within your folders. And so it basically becomes more or less your inbox for content, and not just simply an access point. And on top of that, we're kind of sneaking into the IT side of things, Drive has that mobile device management built in, so IT can feel comfortable that you can use pretty much any device that the end user wants to choose in this. So it's not just about giving your teams the ability to share documents in folders. It's also allowing your teams to collaborate in real time. And so you're able to kind of create content through like Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets. And have a version control that allows everybody to see in real time, where the latest copy of the file is, and you have that activity feed, like I mentioned, to see who's made what changes without necessarily having to dig around in your inbox or ping somebody and say, hey, have you updated your file? And then on top of that, being within the Google Apps platform, you're able to screen share and video chat. So teams can work in ways that they've never imagined possible before. And you're able to connect with people that are located all over, all over the country or all over the world for that matter. So Drive works with all of your files. And so it's the kind of thing that needs to be, that Google envisions being kind of the home for all of your work. And so Google is committed so that it will work with all of the major file types that companies use. And so it also has the ability of viewers that will connect up to 40 major or popular file types. And here's really kind of the kicker, is that it allows you to edit Office files on your mobile device or in the browser, and you don't even have to have Office installed. And that's not necessarily just even having to convert over to a Google Doc or spreadsheet. I mean, that's opening the file through your mobile device or your browser, editing the file, and then saving it. So file storage, it's just, again, that small part of what you need to do. You think about this, is that you need to create content, you need to share it, you need to publish it, you need to find it, and you're not only needing to do that yourself, but you're able to be able to connect with your coworkers on similar projects and be able to communicate with your colleagues in a fast and efficient manner. So basically, Drive allows you to transform the way that you work. It's something that works because you are working on a platform that's always on, that's part of a global infrastructure, and because it's part of the Google Apps platform, you're going to be able to collaborate on documents and publish content and create websites for your internal networks, as well as handle content that you're able to share out to your remote teams. So we've talked a lot about kind of from the end user standpoint, what that would look like from the end user side of things. So how is this going to help IT? Good question. First and foremost, no more quotas. No more quotas. You could store as much data as you want to within Google Drive. Google Drive's storage is unlimited. So that means you're never having to manage quotas. You're never having to say, okay, what kind of what additional servers that we need to provide for the infrastructure, and how are we going to back that all up? Basically, Google Drive, you can store as much information for any user, and it's unlimited. It also supports multi-terabyte file sizes, and because you're storing information within Google's data centers, these are optimized data centers. So really, performance is absolutely world-class and enterprise-grade level solutions. So, in addition to having that availability, that kind of always-on infrastructure, what about security? And Google's infrastructure has all the major security certifications that you would expect. Plus, you have a team of over 400 security engineers that are working around the clock to protect the systems and users that are part of Google's architecture. You also have audit reports that can track all of your user activities from the admin dashboard, and you also have security controls, so you can customize that based on your organization's needs. And so all of the data that is being transmitted up to Drive for work to the cloud, as well as the data when it's stored at rest is encrypted. So you have also that mobile security that's built into the solution as well. You have the ability to do a company-wide file search. And so over the course of the year, we're also going to be seeing additional archiving and e-discovery tools that will be added on to Google Drive for Work. And finally, Google is constantly coming up with new ways to detect security threats. So you're really going to benefit by partnering with Google on this and deploying Google Drive for Work for your organization. You're really going to benefit from those kinds of innovations, from that high level of protection. So, for example, like suspicious login detection, Google's going to be on top of those things, so that you don't have to necessarily manage that or worry about them. So you're also, from that admin control panel that I mentioned, you're going to have a series of convenient management tools, and you're also going to have some data visualization that goes with that. The nice thing about Drive for Work as well is that it integrates with directory structures like Active Directory and LDAP, And again, you're able to do those reportings. You're able to do some data visualization, such as usage as well as sharing trends. And the other thing is that the platform is extensible. So you're able to, there's basically hundreds of solution providers that are out there, and they're integrated within Google Drive. So you're really able to take advantage of connectivity into like such solutions as Salesforce and Jive, and those extensions really kind of provide for they do a little bit more work for you. So for example, your additional security tools, all the way to like Gantt charts and fax integration, and really those APIs and those SDKs and the scripting engine, they're available to you. So really, if you want to take on and build your own workflows and extensions and mobile apps, you're able to do that as well. So you kind of look at this solution, you say, really, where it is right now is you have over 190 million monthly active users in Google Drive as we speak. And you have over 5 million businesses that are already on Google Apps. And this is something that it's certainly a new announcement to the general public, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that have been using it up to this point as well. So it's not some of this kind of Johnny-come-lately type solutions that are kind of coming and going. And here at Dido, we are a Google Enterprise partner, and so as we get into kind of wrapping up through this conversation here, this is the kind of thing where we're really just kind of kicking things off and kind of introducing you to this discussion. I mean, we would like to have kind of a deeper dive into kind of where you are. What are some of the struggles that you
Hey, I think we had some more technical difficulties here. The weather on the East Coast here must be pretty bad. I know my power in Virginia got cut off a few times there, and I apologize about that. I think Bill's down in Georgia, and he may have had some issues as well. Looks like he's maybe joining back in here in just a second.
Hey there.
There's Bill.
Sorry about that.
That's right. I think we lost you for a minute or two there, but feel free to jump back in where you left off.
So no, yeah, I guess I was kind of wrapping up. I mean, where are we on from a question answer standpoint? We got some folks that have had a few questions, or where are we on that?
Yeah, we've got a few. Jacob asked, he may have missed this earlier in the presentation, but is there a cost difference for the consumer use of Google Drive versus a business using Google Drive?
So that's a great question, Jacob. So right out the bat, if I make from a consumer standpoint of Google Drive, and also that's like if you were using Gmail, you're able to use Google Drive, and you'll see some of the features that we talk about that are kind of coming along the line, like for example, editing Office documents in a browser or using your mobile device. That's actually going to be accessible regardless of where you are in this. If you are, and you're limited by basically the storage capabilities within the consumer product there. I think it's like 15 gigs of storage space. On the consumers, or excuse me, the professional side or the business side of things, if you're a Google Apps for Business customer, That is typically you get 30 gigs of storage space, and that's actually at a cost of $50 per person per year. But if you wanted to move to the Google Drive for Work solution, if you're a current Google Apps customer, it would be called Google Apps Unlimited. At that point, with unlimited storage space, you're looking at $10 per person per month, and that's where the pricing would be.
All right, we've also got a question around how is this different from, say, the Google Drive application that comes with Google Apps for Business?
Okay. So yeah, it is there from the Google Drive for Business work. Much like I said, you're going to have a limited storage space of 30 gigs. There are also going to be some advanced features from an administration standpoint, as well as basically archiving and discovery that will occur that you'll be able to do with Google Drive or Drive for Work that you will not currently be able to do with Google Apps for Business. So it's more of a kind of a premium offering from Google as opposed to the standard offering of Google Apps for Business.
Okay. And did you speak to the price point yet, Bill? We just had a question about that.
Yeah. So it is Google Drive for Work is $10 per person per month, or it would be $120 per person per year.
And just to recap for the audience who doesn't currently know, how does that compare with the Google Apps for Business package?
Sure. So a Google Apps for Business package will cost $50 per person per year. Like I said, mentioned with the more premium offering of Drive for Work, you're going to not only get the unlimited storage, but on top of that, you're going to get that archiving and discovery and those advanced tools that you would have within from an administrator standpoint that you would not have from the standard offering of Google Apps for Business.
Okay, thanks. We also had a question from Tim. Could we use this as a function for PC backup? I'm assuming he means some kind of automated backing up system.
That's a good question, Tim. I think really where Google Drive for Work is designed is not so much from a backup standpoint, but more as your primary file share or primary storage. There are also, like I mentioned, from a third-party offerings, that there are backups that are available, ways to back up that information. But just keep in mind when you're utilizing Drive for Work, your information is continually saved. So if you're working in a document, it's always being saved. Now you think of, like, from an example of me working off my desktop or working off of the file server. I'm going to have to make sure, if the onus is on me, to make sure that that information is uploaded or saved to, or those kinds of things. If I'm working off of Drive for Work, I'm able to make that's always being updated. That's always being saved. So you might kind of consider that kind of thinking kind of in a different way. But you could utilize that from a standpoint of being able to leverage that for all of your teams as that primary source where you're storing information versus leaning on your own data centers.
Yeah, Tim,
I hope that helps.
Yeah, and clearing that up, Tim, it might make sense for us to have an individual conversation, or you and Bill to connect following the event, just to kind of make sure you get your questions answered. Derek asked if you can edit Microsoft Docs in Drive from the Chrome browser or the iOS device.
That's a great question, and you can, and you're able to do that. Before, if you're kind of a Google Apps user or have used it before, you know that you have to convert it over to a doc or a Google spreadsheet. But now, as part of this announcement, you're actually able to edit those files in native formats and be able to make those changes very quick edits, both on the mobile platform as well as within your Chrome browser, and you're able to save those changes there.
Thanks, Bill. We just holding on to see if there's any last-minute questions here. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here in just a minute.
And while we're doing that, I just wanted to let the audience know too, and we'll probably send you a note about this as well. As we've got a really great Geo webinar that's coming up next week with one of our Geo specialists, Narav, and we're going to highlight and kind of unpack some of the Geo offerings that are out there for the enterprise. I mean, everybody's kind of familiar with with Google Maps, and they kind of know that just kind of out of the box what it entails. You know, if I'm trying to get directions to to the local restaurant that I want to check out. But there's some really amazing offerings for the enterprise that Google has within the Geo space. So we'd really encourage you to check that out next week. If there aren't any other questions, we got any other questions?
Yeah, let me scroll back through here. We've got yeah, they're starting to come in. Weston asked, which I think maybe you spoke to briefly, has the new Drive for Work expanded the admin features for file sharing?
It has. One of the kind of neat features is that you're able to either whitelist or whitelist domains, so you can kind of even get from a granular standpoint of how you're able to share information outside the organization. Those are one of the features that are available within Drive for Work, and kind of David hinted to, we can kind of dive into that a little bit more on a call at some point if you'd like to. But there are some, and then on top of that, being able to do an archive and discovery off of your Google Docs as well is good from a legal discovery, that kind of thing. That's included in Drive for Work as well.
And Jacob, just so you know, we just got your question. He asked regarding this. He tried to Google it, but he was looking for an article or something that points to sort of a side-by-side comparison of the regular Google Drive and the Google Drive for Work.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like I think Jacob, it probably would make sense just because that gets into some of the real details that Bill gave a high-level overview of today. But it might make sense for you guys to connect following the event as well.
Yeah, and we can Google has like a kind of a sheet of some of that side-by-side comparison, and we can once we can connect, would love to share that out with you.
Okay, real quick, Robert just asked, we currently use a file server to store users' desktop documents for workstations. Would we be able to use Google Drive for this instead of the file server?
Interesting question. From a desktop standpoint, it's kind of, think of it like a My Documents folder, that you would point the My Documents folder as a Google Drive folder, then for cloud storage. That might be the kind of quote best solution in that. It's the kind of thing that we'd probably one of those things where we would need to. It's basically going to be like one folder that's going to exist on the user's system. So you're not going to be able to have multiple locations around. Now, some of that might entail more kind of a change management type of a scenario where we need to educate the users to say this is something that your company is going to be deploying, and instead of storing stuff here in this location, make sure that you're moving it over to your Drive folder on your computer, which then can be synced up to your cloud account.
Yeah, Robert, that's a good question. I think hopefully Bill cleared that up a little bit, but if it makes more sense, you guys can certainly connect afterwards as well. I'm going to go ahead and display a link here on the right sidebar. You should see that any minute now, just for you guys to reach back out to us following the event. I'll also put Bill's contact information in the chat box here, which is bill@didoweb.com is his email address. And we'll give maybe just 10 more seconds to see if there's any more questions.
Yeah, like I said at the start of this presentation, it's a really exciting offering that Google has now, especially the fact that you have at a very affordable enterprise class level solution that is offering unlimited storage for all of your users. It is something that's really compelling out there, and I think it's going to be a huge game changer for a number of companies. And that's the beauty of the cloud is that it's leveling the playing field, so that those folks that you're basically competing on the same level as Fortune 500 companies that have got huge data centers. You're able to leverage Google's data centers that no one can match, and being able to take advantage of that and utilizing something like this is just such a wonderful product. And like I said, I could talk for days on this stuff. I mean, David and I are sitting there kind of getting ready for this webinar, and he just kind of throws a few things my way. I just like wound me up, and I wouldn't stop talking about it. So and that was just even us kind of setting things up as we got things going here. So we're really excited to talk to you guys about it, and really excited that you guys took the time out of your day to join us and to learn a little bit more about this. Would love to have that conversation with you and to have a little bit more, learn a little bit more about where you guys are and how we might be able to help out.
Okay, and just to close out, if anybody did not hear the email address, it's Bill, B-I-L-L, at ditoweb.com. That's DITOWEB.com. And we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks for joining us, and hope to see you guys soon.
Take care, everybody. Thanks a lot.